how a person will operate. Look at how they live their life.
They were asking me about what's going on with the skin and what my opinion is of if we can hold this thing on. And I said, yeah, it's going to be just fine. I said, how do we know? And I said, because I just met before.
People were afraid. People were thinking that something terrible could happen. After 9/11, the way we looked at these events changed drastically. More so than any of our games, the world was really watching this film. How was the United States commercial? Who they were, not all of the games.
It was worse than I expected. I thought the Salt Lake turnaround was just a public relations turnaround. Instead, it turned out to be a financial turnaround and a governmental turnaround.
He was not a figurehead. He was not only running this show, he was out there speaking to people, showing them through his words, through his actions, what the Olympics could mean to the United States.
When I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, both of us just dissolved in tears.
Probably the toughest time of my life was standing there with him as we helped each other, and the diagnosis came.
I was very, very ill. I don't know if people knew how sick I was. I was frightened. I was frightened. But I needed him desperately.
Look, I'm happy in life as long as I've got my soulmate.
Mitt decided that he was going to honor heroes throughout the country and that the torch relay was going to be all about heroes. And Mitt chose me as his hero. My life was in jeopardy. And I was like as vulnerable as a person could be. And I trust him. I trust him with my life.
She's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. You know, I can't explain love. I don't know why it happens. I don't know why it endures the way it does. At the very beginning, I sat with her, chatted with her, put my arm around her, and, something changed.
My 16th birthday party was when midnight really became sort of a night mid-hell planet. It was just sort of the beginning of our romance. 1968, he flew into the Detroit airport right before Christmas. Of course, his mother is like had her arms open and he runs right by her and grabs me.
On the car ride home from the airport, I turned to Anne and said, I feel like I've never been away. And she said, I feel the same way.
So by the time we got home, we got out of the car and we tell everybody, well, we're getting married like next week. We compromised and waited until March 21st.
You sweet baby.
I could do okay when I had the 2.
My brother and I, Matt, fought a lot.
3, not bad. 4, it got to be a little much.
Oh, gosh. Very much.
And then with the 5th one, and Craig was my most active child. He was a young boy.
Granny, hi. Craig, how's it working?
Remember my mom was always begging for us to be quiet. Please gotta have quiet in this house.
We can bend a lot of rules and get in a lot of trouble. We can never say anything bad about my mom.
I traveled a good deal in my early career. I would call Ann and I could hear the boys in the background and she might be a little exasperated. And I said, Ann, don't forget, what you're doing is more important than what I'm doing.
I hate to say it, but often I had more than 5 sons. I had 6 sons.
How you doing? Apples and oranges.
He was really life.
Mitt would walk in the door after work, leave the briefcase at the door. That was it. Never thought about work again until he left in the morning.
We just felt like we were the most important thing in his life. I went to mom if I ever needed money, because he never went to dad. He was way too cheap.
My dad didn't have the right ball, so he replaced it just with whatever ball he had. The problem is it sticks out way too far and blinds you as you cook, so he just solved that tinfoil.
I've been poor. I've worked from the time I was 12. I know what poverty is. I've been up through it.
For Mitt, I think he idolized his father. He really was his hero.
In the summer, my dad used to pack up our family and take us to the great national parks. It was during those trips that I fell in love with America. Dad was born in Mexico. His parents and grandparents had moved to Mexico. They were refugees from the revolution. I remember Ann asking my dad what was the most meaningful accomplishment of your life. And without hesitation, he said, the greatest accomplishment of my life is having raised you 4 kids. Like me, he fell in love young. Family from my mom and dad was everything. My dad worked for his dad. He was a drywall guy. Back then they called it lath and plaster. He could put nails in his mouth and spit them out and point him forward. I grew up watching my dad lead.
Look, I'm in public life today because I'm concerned about America. I'm concerned about what's happening to America.
If he felt some way about a particular issue, there was no question in your mind about how he felt. Friends called him the brick because he was immovable. He let me tag along in some very unusual settings. I didn't realize he was giving me an experience that was more helpful from a leadership standpoint. Staples is a good example of what a pain and company consider the management of an excellent company.
What was special about Mitt is he understood what was behind the numbers. What's behind the numbers was great people.
I made a point to let us know that every employee was covered.
Why would anybody want to save on envelopes and envelopes?
Mitt is a cheap son. If he could save 50 cents on paper clips, he'd drive a mile to do it.
Bring jobs back to this country. If you ask me why, because I've seen it do it firsthand.
He was dealing with the fundamental problems that companies confront.
The governor asked one of his assistants to bring out a list of campaign promises. Now, there were something like 44 campaign promises. The governor said, by the end of this administration, we're going to go right down this checklist and keep each and every promise that was made. And I said, he's different.
I actually cut spending dollars in Massachusetts, and we balanced our budget, and went from a $3 billion budget gap in my first year to over $2 billion rainy day fund.
When he came into office, we were in a fiscal crisis. When he came out, we were much more stable.
His whole life has brought him to this point of being able to have the skills and the experience to be able to tackle something as difficult as this, as turning this country around.
Mitt Romney is in this race, I believe, not just for himself. He's in it to improve the lives of the American people.
It's an extraordinary achievement that he lost. I know he understands the economy. He's uniquely qualified to get our economy moving again.
Takes control.
He's not a stuffed shirt guy.
Charisma.
He is rock solid, authentic leader. His values are so strong.
He's a man of faith, extraordinary character. He cares about the lives, the goals, and the voices that we have.
An amazing humble man.
I think he has a great deal of pride in the first country. Finds a way for turning adversity into the opportunity.
This is one of the guys that can do what it's going to take to turn this country around.
Getting America strong. That's what American president has to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, with us today is a 4-time Grammy-nominated artist, Academy of Country Music new female vocalist, and a big Ann Romney supporter. Please help me welcome Jamie O'Neill.
Thank you so much for coming out, and thanks for having me along for this great event. I want to dedicate my first song to all the women from it, to Ann Romney, for being somebody's hero. This one's for you.
Underwear says
Master of Ceremonies for today's event, and your Congressman, Joe Peck.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Henderson Convention Center here in the heart of Congressional District 3. It's good to see you all. How about another round of applause for Jamie O'Neill and the band? Weren't they great? Well, I know you're all anxious to get this show on the road, but what I want to do first is I want to take the opportunity to introduce to you a couple of candidates that we have running for state assembly. Real important races here in the state of Nevada. The first candidate I want to introduce is a woman who, along with her husband, runs a small business. She's been active in the community, in the school district, has 2 children, knows what the issues are that are facing families and business owners across Nevada, will be a great addition to the Nevada State Assembly running in District 21, which is Green Valley, Becky Harris.
And I'm running for State Assembly District 21. 4 years ago, when Barack Obama started talking about change, I wasn't buying what he was selling. As an attorney who works with the financially distressed, I see every day how this weak economy impacts individuals and families. With the highest unemployment rate in the nation, Many of us here are struggling just to put food on the table and to pay our mortgages. Instead of a president who paints Las Vegas as a symbol of what's wrong with America, we need a president who understands that it is critical to Nevada that we have an economy where businesses can grow and create the jobs we need. We are in the middle of a housing crisis, and the current administration has done nothing to find a satisfactory resolution. We need long-term solutions that are sustainable and specific to Nevada. Our education system must improve. Parents need the tools that are necessary to help get that education for their children, along with school choice options. It is through those opportunities that they'll be able to place their children in an educational environment where they will thrive. Okay? When all the political rallies are over and the political advertisements kind of fade away from our televisions and our radios, this election comes down to one critical issue. Are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? No! Well, I'm not either. Hell no! And again, I'm not buying what Barack Obama is selling. We need a candidate that shares our values and our priorities. Governor Romney is that candidate. Every vote matters. Yours could be the difference. Will you join with me and vote for Mitt Romney and send him to the White House? That way, we can send Barack Obama back to Chicago.
Next, I want to introduce another one of our great assembly candidates, a third-generation Nevadan, another small business owner, a father to 4 children, running in Assembly 14, which is the Tule Springs northwest part of the valley. Please help me welcome Paul Anderson.
Hello, Anderson. How are you? Wow, what a privilege it is to be here with you today. You know, we're less than 20 days away from early voting starting in this great state. And what an honor it is to be here today with our soon-to-be First Lady, Ann Romney. My name is Paul Anderson. I'm a Nevada State Assembly candidate, and I am proud to stand with Mitt Romney. As Congressman Heck said earlier, I own a small business here in town. 16 years ago, my wife and I started that business in our small one-bedroom apartment. We risked everything in the hope of building our American dream. Today, that business is surviving the Obama recession. It's employing families. We're servicing clients across the West and contributing to this great economy. And yes, Mr. President, we did build it. Tired of the rhetoric coming out of this White House. You're tired of the debt and the burden that we're passing on to our kids and their kids. And we are certainly tired of the White House. We are certainly tired of a White House more interested in appeasing our enemies than protecting our citizens. You're more than welcome to clap every time I pause. That works. President Obama a few weeks ago admitted that he can't fix Washington from the inside. But Washington is still going to be our capital, and I think it's time we elect a man that can fix Washington from the inside. Someone that has a proven record. America needs a leader in the White House. America needs Mitt Romney. Time to get to work, folks. It's a sprint to the finish, and we need your help. It's not enough to just vote this time. You have to make a significant impact. You need to walk your neighborhoods, you need to make phone calls, you need to engage your neighbors, not just the ones that agree with you. Find those that need to be helped along the way a little bit. I expect us to win Nevada for Mitt Romney. Let's show America Nevada is Romney country. I'm proud to be a Nevadan, I'm proud to be an American, and I am proud to stand with Mitt Romney for President of the United States. Let's get to work.
How about another round of applause for our two Assembly candidates? They're going to be great additions to Carson City, working on behalf of all Nevadans here in Southern Nevada. You know, they've said it well. We are definitely at a very decisive moment in our nation's history. And the decisions that are made on November 6th aren't going to affect those that are of our age. They're going to affect our children and our grandchildren. They're the ones that are either going to reap the benefits or pay the consequences of the decisions we make on November 6th. Who wants to make the right decision on November 6th? On November 6th. Who wants to make Ann Romney the First Lady of the United States? And you need to get out and vote on November 6th. Who's with me? I knew I could count on the folks here in Henderson. That's why it's in Henderson, of course. Thank you all so much for being here. I've got one last couple that I want to introduce. These are lifelong friends of Ann's and Mitt's. And they've taken the time to travel here to tell you about their relationship with the Romney family. Please help me welcome Pam and Grant Finlayson.
Well, in 1982, my husband and I moved from California to Massachusetts with our newborn son. Being a church-going family, we looked for the nearest chapel and soon found ourselves in a congregation led by a clearly bright and capable man named Mitt Romney. I knew Mitt was special from the start. We didn't own a dryer at the time, and the day he stopped by to welcome us, I was embarrassed to find I had laundry hanging all over the house. But Mitt wasn't fazed. In fact, as we spoke, without a word, he just joined in alongside me, helpfully plucking clothes from around the room and folding them. By the time he left, not only did I feel welcome, my laundry was done. I got to know Ann a short time later, when we both had volunteered to help clean and decorate the church for a social. As I entered the building with my baby strapped in snugly on my chest, I accidentally bumped into Ann, who I found was simultaneously cleaning fingerprints off the front door, even as she was trying to keep her two youngest and really adorable little 4-year-old Ben, and always on the go Craigie from trying to run out of the church into the road. It was there, juggling children, cleaning floors, and hanging decorations, that Ann and I first bonded over Windex and diapers. In the years that followed, the Romneys became really wonderful role models and friends, and we were honored when Mitt and Ann would regularly trust us to stay with their 5 rambunctious but very loving boys at home. Walking in their parental shoes for even just a short time gave us a very unfiltered perspective on life in the Romney household. When I hear speculations, the Romney home must have been something like out of Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous or Housewives of the wherever it might have been, I have to laugh. The reality was, nothing could be more different from the truth. There were no maids or nannies or cooks or butlers, unless, of course, you count Mitt and Ann, because they were the team that was taking care of the cooking and cleaning, even as they also took care of much of their own maintenance and repairs themselves. Mitt and Ann believed chores were something that should be done by the family. They wanted to teach their boys the importance of responsibility and hard work. So when Ann says they were busy raising 5 boys, trust her, she means it. It was busy. And in the Romney house, Mitt, as the father, worked alongside Ann. He was never the guy who came home and put on his slippers and read the paper while Mom was working away in the kitchen. Mitt and Ann were equals in the very best sense of the word. They were partners. And theirs was an example of teamwork in a marriage that my husband and I have tried to emulate since. It was when our daughter Kate was born, 3.5 months early, however, that I fully came to appreciate what a great treasure of friendship we had in Mitt and Ann. Our Kate was so tiny and very sick. Her lungs not yet ready to breathe, her heart unstable, and after suffering a severe brain hemorrhage at 3 days old, she was teetering on the very edge of life. As I sat with her in intensive care, consumed with a mother's worry and fear, dear Mitt came to visit and pray with me. As our clergy, he was one of very few visitors allowed. But I will never forget how, when he looked down tenderly at my daughter, his eyes filled with tears, and he reached out gently and stroked her tiny back. I could tell immediately that he didn't just see a tangle of plastic and tubes and wires. He saw our beautiful little girl, and he was clearly overcome with compassion for her. During the many months that Kate was hospitalized, the Romneys often cared for our 2-year-old son, Peter. They treated him as one of their own, like a sick son. They gave him a nickname and even welcomed him to stay the night when needed. When Thanksgiving that year rolled around, brain surgery was scheduled, and the holiday was the furthest thing from our minds. That morning, I opened the door to find Mitt and the boys, arms loaded down with a Thanksgiving feast. Of course, we were overcome. But later, when I called to thank Ann, she sweetly confessed it had been Mitt's idea, that most of the shopping and cooking and shopping had been done by him. She and the boys had just happily chipped in. Eventually, we moved from Boston. Our daughter Kate grew into an amazing girl of faith and love. But complications of her birth remained with her, and after 26 years of both miracles and struggle, she passed away just 1.5 years ago. In the midst of making the final decision to run for president, however, which had to be the most difficult of their lives, when they heard of Kate's passing, both Mitt and Ann paused to personally reach out to us to extend sympathy and express their love. It seems to me, when it comes to loving our neighbor, we can talk about it or we can live it. Shut up. The Romneys live it every single day. When the world looks at Mitt Romney, they may see him as the founder of a successful business, the leader of the Olympic Games, or a governor. But when I see Mitt Romney, I know him to be a loving father, a man of faith, and a caring and compassionate friend. So it is with great excitement and renewed hope to think how our country will be blessed as it is led by a man who is not only so very accomplished and capable, but who has devoted his entire life to quietly serving others. That man is Mitt Romney.
Jamie O'Neill for the
Media, shut up!
America.
Quiet over there. Typical media. Nice going for it, Dean.
God bless
went to the Detroit airport right before Christmas, 1968. And in the car ride home, he's going, oh my gosh, why don't we just get married right now? And I thought, that's it. He was so reassuring and so loving and so careful and just said, hey, we're fine. I don't care if you get in a wheelchair, we're fine. No matter what happens, we're gonna do this together. I look back now and I can't believe we did this. He is a